Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Glad you could be here today. And oh boy, have I got a book review for you. I just finished The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And whew, what a magnificent ride. I just can't say enough good about this book. And I will go so far as to say, if there is one book that could possibly become my new favorite book, it's this one. And you know that's saying a lot because I always rave about The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And for right now, I'm still saying Ocean at the End of the Lane is my favorite. But if it's possible to have two absolute top favorite books, then this would be added right next to The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I loved it that much. So to give you an idea where the story goes, it follows a circus that is born out of an idea to create a venue for a competition of sorts. And we start with two characters. One is Prospero, a famous magician who practices what everyone else thinks is sleight of hand, but he is actually able to manipulate the universe and actually do real magic. And he comes to have a young girl under his tutelage, and I won't tell you who she is. You'll find out more once you read the book. But he brings this young girl in and he trains her in the ways of his arts, and he has an associate who he brings in, and he requests the associate to put up one of his students and to match them against each other. So the young girl, as soon as she becomes of age at some point in the future, and whoever his business associate picks for his student, will have a duel of sorts against each other. And they seal it with a ring of binding. And he places it on the girl's finger, and eventually his associate will place another similar ring on whoever he picks for the challenge. And apparently they've been doing this throughout the years and had various different students under their tutelage that have competed and fought against each other. But the venue that is created for this competition to take place is a circus. They enlist a man of great creative knowledge and with the resources to create a huge spectacle of a circus, and they enlist the help of someone to make up the blueprints and everything like that, and they have this team that comes together to start this magnificent circus and to plan it out. And eventually they hire different acts, and a fortune teller and a contortionist, and just some really magnificent and unique and rather disturbing acts in a very fun sort of way. And the circus travels from town to town and country to country, just popping up all of a sudden, mysteriously. No one knows how it got there, but it draws everyone into its folds. As Prospero's associate, who we really only know as A.H. through most of the story, we do find out his name's Alexander at some point. He picks his chosen student, and as the student grows, he meets some other people that he brings into the fold to be part of the circus, and it is just a magnificent and unique story. I've never quite read anything like it. The magic is very otherworldly, very subtle. It is more illusionary in many ways. So not even though it is real magic, it is portrayed to the public as an illusion. And there are many other characters that play. The way we see this play out for most of the book is following the young girl Celia as she grows to become of age to where she can compete and join this circus, and then the other boy who eventually grows up and becomes of age to also compete, but neither one of them knows who the other is until very, very late in the book. And it was just such a magnificent ride. I was just blown away by the poetic structure of the book, the descriptions and the details about how they observe things happening in their lives that eventually brings them together. And just powerfully told. Now, there are interludes, and there's two types of interludes. There's one interlude from a character named Bailey, who we meet about maybe a quarter to halfway through the book, right in there abouts. And he is a patron of the circus, but many years in the future from when the initial events of the story are taking place. We find him in the early 1900s, and the other parts of the story, the other characters, are told from the mid 1800s on. So you get a wide berth of time between Bailey and the other characters in the story, but they do eventually meet. So Bailey's character is very unique. You know, he's grown up on a farm, and he goes to the circus whenever he gets a chance, and it's like entering into a world that he has never known, but it feels so familiar and homey to him. And there's a reason for that. And we don't find that out till later in the story, so I don't want to spoil it too much. The other interludes are kind of a breaking of the fourth wall, if you will. It's told from your perspective, you the reader, as you are looking at the circus that you have started attending for the day. So it speaks to you and says, you notice these things, and there are these things appearing before your eyes, and this is how you feel, and this is what you're thinking. So, you know, very much a kind of a breaking of the fourth wall experience, as I mentioned. The rest of the story is told from a second-person active perspective, where it's almost like you are attending a movie, but you're blind and you can't see what's going on. So the person that has brought you to the movie is describing each and every detail to you about what's going on. So you're getting everything from a second person's perspective, but they're seeing it and relaying it to you. It's a little bit jarring at first, but don't let that dissuade you from continuing with the story. After a while, you don't even notice it. Or at least I didn't. So, man, this book was literally just a brilliant, brilliant read. I do want to read more of Erin Morgenstern's books, but it kind of left me speechless in a way. There's a love story wrapped up in it from a couple of different characters' perspectives, but the love story does not overwhelm the actual mystique of the entire story itself. It's more of a side story than it is the actual story, but towards the end of the book it becomes the story. And it's a very, very unique way of writing a love story in a roundabout way. And the circus is extremely emotional and gripping and mysterious. Throughout the entire book, I had this sense of creeping wonder. I knew that at some point there was something that was going to happen. It was right there on the edge. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just barely there. And then nothing happened, and then I kept going and expecting something to happen. Things were happening behind the scenes, but not completely in my face, which I really like that about a book. I couldn't recommend this book enough to anyone who enjoys a good fairy tale, a good mystery, a good fantasy story. Anyone who enjoys the circus. If you're a circus fan, this will really speak to you and warm you. The characters are utterly odd and different and strange, and I just love that about the characters. All of the characters were really, really well developed. With the exception of Bailey, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more details about him, but I think he was meant to be left as a mystery. There are some other side characters that I would have liked to have heard more about. There's Madame Padva, who is a godmother of sorts to the proprietor of the circus, a Mr. Chandresh Lefevre, and she became part of the group that planned out and started the circus, but we never really know a whole lot about her. One thing that I thought was really, really cool is at some point it becomes clear that the performers and the owners of the circus and the people involved with it that travel with the circus are not aging, or at least they are not aging quickly like you and I would age. It's a more gradual aging that takes place over, as opposed to with us, over maybe 100 years. Aging for them might take place over 400 years, the way it makes it appear. It's a very subtle aging, to where, you know, they will remark to each other, you don't seem to have aged a day. It's very subtle, but as you begin to read the story and see what's happening, and you get more information, you realize, oh, there's something going on with this circus that is intentionally keeping them from aging. It was just such a gripping story. I have to read it again at some point, and I'll probably get a whole bunch of different stuff from it when I reread it. But I just can't quit gushing about it, so I'm just going to stop before I continue to gush more. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you read this book before? Have you heard of it? What are your thoughts on it? Are you interested in reading it now that you've seen my review and have thought more about it, and maybe it sparks your interest? And after my review, do you have no interest in it at all still? And if not, let me know why. I would love to know. I respect a whole bunch of different viewpoints. But if you like something completely different and unique, whew, man, I highly, highly recommend this book to you. I will leave a link below in the description of this video where you can purchase it. It is an affiliate link through Amazon, so it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does give me a little pushback eventually if you purchase it through my link. So I would appreciate that. Make sure you click a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to share it with your friends. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and sign up for notifications so that you get my future videos delivered to you. And most importantly, if you do nothing else, remember to read more books, starting with The Night Circus, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great day, guys. Bye.